podcast. It's a new month. It's March. And honestly, this feels like a whole new chapter. I feel like we're having a bit of a refresh. Remember season 1 of the pod when I used to tell you guys to go out and change your toothbrush whenever there was a new month? The Sunday just been, it was the 1st of March here in New Zealand. And I actually brought a new dish brush for the sink. Listen, I don't know what adulting is, but I'm almost 40 and I feel like this is it. No, I'm just kidding. Anyway, this month does feel like a great new chapter, not in a dramatic new me kind of way, but in a quieter, stronger, I don't know, I'm feeling myself this month. I shouldn't have said that anyway. This episode is going to be a bit more of a life update and a bit of a check-in. I'm talking about something from late last year that had actually shifted my perspective more than I realized, and I had not even told you guys about it. Also, what I'm focusing on this March when it comes to food, fitness and routine, we are keeping the momentum with discussing all of those bits and pieces. And a few moments recently that reminded me how good it feels to be present and clear-headed in all the chaos that's actually going on in the world right now. If you guys are entering a new month and wanting to feel healthier, steadier and just more like yourself again, this episode is going to be for you. So, in saying that, we did have a few weird scenarios that happened last year that I actually didn't really deep dive on the podcast, mostly for my own mental health. I did not know how to deal with these things. So it's taken me a bit of a second to reflect, and I feel like now's as good a time as any to discuss it. So anyway, late last year, I had a bit of a situation where Poe, my kitten, was learning. I don't know. He's always been a boisterous little thing, but he at one stage tried to jump off me. I don't know. I think there was something that triggered him and he got scared. So he tried to leap out of my arms, and in doing so, he pushed his back legs against my left boob. Yes, this is a boob scenario. So, as you all know, I am on blood thinners, and this was a bruised situation. This bruise lingered from March through April. We got to early May, and I was a little bit concerned. I know, it actually took me a long time to get this kind of somewhat sorted. Anyway, I went to the doctor, and I said, hey, look, I've had this bruise for going on like 2 or 3 months now. It wasn't subsiding. It just looked like, I don't know, it was like a weird blemish that wouldn't dissipate. So I'd had enough, and I told my GP. She had a little bit of a fondle, let's be honest. I don't really know what she was looking for, but anyway, she sent through a referral for a breast biopsy. Obviously, there were a few components here. Obviously, blood thinners, my age, all those kinds of things. But yeah, it actually took them damn near 90 days to get back to me about having this biopsy. And then I don't know if you guys know, but the New Zealand health system's a bit wonky, as with a lot of countries in the world. I'm not shaming anyone here. So I was a little bit frightened. I went for this breast biopsy in Queenstown. It was a rainy morning, and I was just thinking, it's a little bit excessive for the fact that it was a bruise. Like, I honestly thought I was going to get given like arnica cream or something that would just make this bruise go away. But no, here we are at a bloody clinic having scans done. And you know what they say about having a biopsy? It's going to hurt, they tug, they pull, blah, blah, blah. I mean, you haven't really seen me that much for my listeners. A lot of people don't actually know what I look like. I'm just the voice of reason every Tuesday, I suppose. So I do have great knockers, is what people refer to them as. Anyway, the actual biopsy didn't hurt as such. It was the shock that they actually found something, but in a different boob. I'm talking about the right one. So the bruise is on the left, the bump's on the right. I kind of went into this frozen mode where I could have gone back to Cromwell, where I'm from, and I could have, mulled over this whole situation. But instead, I ended up at my brother's house, sitting on the floor, just kind of contemplating what the hell's going on. It's kind of unwanted news at this stage. My mum walked in and she was like, well, what are you doing? And I said, I had a biopsy this morning and they found a lump in the right boob, which isn't why I was there. And I was kind of thrown off a bit. So anyway, she says, look, no news is good news. Let's just go for the actual biopsy where they stick a little pin in or something. It was kind of like I can't even describe it. It's like a claw that goes into your boob and pulls a bit of tissue or something. That hadn't happened yet. This was just scans. So anyway, I got my referral to go down to Dunedin, which is a 3.5-hour drive, and go and get this biopsy done. And I was thinking, it's a long way to go for something like this. Surely there would be something more in Queenstown that we could, test the situation. But anyway, Oh, I'm not saying that there's like a good and a bad type of scenario when these types of things happen, but I feel like I worried myself sick for something that was so crazy. I'm so glad my mum was there for the most part, because what happened in Dunedin still kind of cracks me up, and I haven't shared it because I was like, what the heck was that? Anyway, they put me in a gown and I'm sitting in this great little room and it's sterile and cold and it's just not where I want to be, when this beautiful, handsome man walks in, and I'm thinking, I mean, I suppose men can be into doing boob biopsies. I'm none the wiser. I have no idea. I don't know why I assumed it would be a female or an older kind of a male, someone that wasn't so goddamn sexy. Am I allowed to call him sexy? Oh, well, anyway. So anyway, this beautiful man walks in and he says to me that he is going to show me where this lump is. And I'm like, okay. So he gets me to lay back on this bed and he's like looking for this. I don't know why he thought he could find it, because even the lady in Queenstown couldn't find it, like to just pinpoint where it is. It was like a weird under the muscle kind of a lump. Anyway, he's given me the once over with his hands. And he says to me, well, I can't find it, so I'm going to let you go back to the waiting area. You may even be able to go and get some lunch, and if we find a slot in the afternoon, I'll get you in to get a biopsy done. I said, listen, excuse me, I thought I was here for the biopsy in the first place. I'm not sure why you're having a fondle and sending me back to the waiting area. But anyway, so I pull myself together, put my outfit back on, and I go back to the waiting area, and Mum's sitting there and she's laughing. And I'm like, what are you laughing at? She says, why is your hair all messy? I said, what do you mean? And she was like, I don't know, your hair's all static. And I said, I don't know what just happened. I felt like I was in a car wash. This beautiful man was just fondling me, trying to get my lump to show so that he could show me where it was. And we couldn't find it. So he sent me back to the waiting room and we're going to wait for an appointment for a biopsy. So anyway, the receptionist says, yep, cool, I'll give you a ring before 2:00 if we can slot you in. If not, you can go back to Queenstown. I was thinking, what a waste of time. What is even happening? So I go for a bit of shopping in Dunedin, grab some food, some bits and pieces that we don't have in Queenstown. Gets to about 1:45 and I'm thinking, well, I really don't think we're going to hear from this place. We might as well get on the road. So it gets to about 2:15, 2:30. We get a phone call and it comes through the car speaker, the surround sound in the car audio system. And it's the hospital. And they said, we can fit you in so you can come back to the hospital now. And I said, I've hit the road. I'm going back to Queenstown. And then she says, that's fine. We'll refer you to the Queenstown clinic. I said, are you joking? You've actually sent me to Dunedin for something that I could have done in Queenstown. Anyway, I said, what was that guy's name that actually I just saw today? And she said his name. And I said, you tell him Gold Star. I didn't think I was going to go to Dunedin for a fondle, but here we are, Gold Star. And anyway, I get a referral for the Queenstown clinic and I get this little old lady. She's beautiful. We've actually become quite good friends after this. I think she was more worried about me than I was. But anyway, she actually does the whole biopsy thing and everything's completely fine. Like after the biopsy, and there's a few people in there. Like I'm not going to lie, this wasn't a one-woman band. This was a female that was using the machine to look for this lump. There was 2 women that were squashing my boob so that she could put the tool in to grab the flesh to pull it out again. And then there was little old me who was just sitting there like, oh, this hurts. But anyway, after they did all of this, the little old lady, she comes to me in the waiting area and she sits with me and she says, now look, whatever the news may be, if it's good or it's bad, just know that you've got our support and we'll help you through it. But I truly believe that this is going to be good news, not bad news. And I'm thinking, okay, that's fine. I'll take your word for it. So off she toddles. And then I don't hear anything for, I don't know, a couple of weeks. And then I tell you what, you guys, this is the most craziest thing. Do you know when I actually got the results for this biopsy? Christmas Eve, 5 p.m, I get a phone call from the hospital and they said, hey Danny, just want to let you know it's good news. We've tagged the lump. It is not cancer, and basically we're just going to keep your file so that if anything arises in the future, we know what that one is and you're free to enjoy the rest of your life, basically. And I was thinking, oh my God, imagine if this was bad news and you're telling me on Christmas Eve. So it was a bit of a mishmash, to be honest. I'm not really that impressed with the whole process, but I feel like even though they dropped the ball at numerous times and I'd spent a fair chunk of time going to Dunedin to go and see something that they didn't even test for, it was kind of like, I suppose if you live in a major city centre and you've got these facilities accessible for you, you can spiral when you get some sort of news like this. And look, I'm not going to lie, I was a little bit short with a few people. The morning we were going to Dunedin, I went to go get a coffee, and I feel like the barista was actually like serving everyone except me. And I was totally in my head about this. I was so wound up. Like, I don't want to go to Dunedin. I don't want these things to be injected into my body. I don't want them to take my flesh out of my body. Like, it just seems so unheard of. And more so, this type of thing doesn't run in my family, so it's not like it's hereditary. I don't know. I was kind of just not really processing any of it, to be honest. And then to find out that it was nothing, and you know, I'd spent better part of a year trying to get this sorted and not have it be bad news, and then it turned out to be good news, but there was weird shit along the way. I actually was telling a few friends about this story, and they were like, I mean, your situation, Danny, is one of those ones that never happens to people, so you can't be sort of mad about it because a lot of people get bad news. And I'm like, well, yeah, but that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that you just can't go into these things thinking that the worst of the worst situation is going to happen. I kind of did myself, but that's just because I was like, oh, just another thing to try and climb over in life, you know. It's not one thing, it's a bloody other. Anyway, it got me thinking, and I was kind of reflecting as to what this episode was going to be about today. And I am actually going to go to the doctor about my concussion because for some strange reason, the pain on my left side of my head is definitely lingering. And I'm kind of a little bit scared, I'm not going to lie. I'm still not sleeping on the left-hand side of my head. And I don't want to like fall down the rabbit hole of looking it up on ChatGPT or Google as to like symptoms of delayed concussion or anything like that. But man, I just can't be bothered with any of this type stuff. It's like, it was such an accident. It was a funny accident, don't get me wrong. And I only caught up with my brother on Saturday about this, and he was like, yeah, Danny, it was a fair whack. I'm not going to lie. So we're a little bit worried about you. But yeah, I just think if something arises in your life and, you know, you don't get it checked out, something could worsen, you know. And I think maybe I wouldn't be so heightened about this concussion if I wasn't getting on a plane shortly to go 12 hours to China. It's just such a foreign concept to me. And I think, oh my gosh, you really have to put yourself in a healthy position before you get going, or else everything could fall down around you. And Mum made the comment last night, how extensive is your travel insurance? And I was like, Susan, I haven't even touched on travel insurance. Like, don't get me wrong, I have a to-do list, but yeah, looking into that kind of scares me because I do know that having a blood clot condition puts me on the back burner a little bit, and they do ask for lots of extras to be, you know, paid for in case something happens. I am relatively healthy. I don't have blood clots circulating my body. It's the damage that was done when I had the blood clot. So the vein damage is what they call it. Anyway, how are we getting on in March? We are 3 days in. It's going to be a wholesome month. I am excited. I've already had 3 days worth of delicious food. I'm really enjoying homemade butter at the moment, which is weird. Butter just in anything really, not just like on toast or anything. I'm talking like when you cook scrambled eggs or when you cook like pasta or, you know, just where you're supposed to add oil. I don't know what's worse. Is butter worse than oil? Oh, no. Anyway, I'm probably just going to clog the arteries here, but anyway. Also, we have the Stair machine at work. God, I can't even say that we're at work when we have a Stair machine because I work from my house. Anyway, we got a Stair machine at the gym, and it's kind of been this quiet, unwritten rule about there's a bit of a competition at the gym. And I was talking to the gym owner about this damn machine because I was like, there's something wrong with it. I don't know how. I've played on a lot of stair machines over the course of my gym life. I've been to a fair few gyms around the world. But this stair machine, I don't know, it's caught me on the chin a few times. I can't work out how on resistance number 1, which is only level 1, why everyone's absolutely dying. Like, you know, even the gym owner can't do more than 3 minutes. And this is a real fit person. Someone like me, I was like, oh. So I watched a few videos on how to do the stupid thing, and they say to take your shoes off and start really slow. It's a marathon, not a sprint. So last week I did 3 15-minute sessions, and I was like, just keep going. Don't stop. Just don't let the lactic acid go to your bloody legs. Just keep going. And I made it. I was pretty impressed with myself, to be honest. Yesterday, I sort of had the whole mindset of 20 minutes was the minimum. Anything more, and it's like, that's great, you know, you're getting up there. But I got to 700 steps, 20 minutes, and I felt like I was having like I mean, I was seeing stars. It was an out-of-body experience, to be quite honest. And I thought, holy crackers, how is anyone supposed to go higher than 20 minutes? I've seen a girl who is shorter than myself, and she did 1,028 steps in 22 minutes. And she was potentially on level 2. We haven't quite worked this out yet. But yeah, it's definitely pushing the boundaries of what I'm physically capable of, and I'm feeling very... it's like doing 100 burpees. Your whole body gets put through it. So I don't know. I feel like if I can maintain this machine and keep it up 3 or 4 times a week at like 15 to 20 minutes, I don't know. I feel like I'm going to be in a pretty good way to get to Thailand. In saying that, it gives you weird, like, restless legs. If I don't jump on the vibration plate before I go to bed, I have to take the weighted blanket off my bed because I can't sleep under it. I have this weird, like, jumpy leg syndrome. It's so weird. But then on the days that I don't do the stair thing, I can have the weighted blanket on the bed and I'm fine. So I don't know. Anyway, we're going to keep going with that. That's fine. Most recently, we had a ladies' night at the Speedway here in Cromwell. It was weird. I was sober. I was the sober driver. Yes, I know. And it was a real weird event. I know that they want to try and get more females at the Cromwell Speedway. And let's be honest, I can see why now, because once those cars start getting around that track, the dirt that starts flinging, it was crazy. I felt like I had windburn and I'd been flung in the face with a piece of dirt. Like, it was a weird experience. However, because it was ladies' night, they had the Casey Clinic doing facials. And I was just thinking, why are they doing facials here? We're getting flung with dirt and I've got windburn on my lips. So anyway, I won a raffle ticket, a raffle prize. And then there was this whole confusion as to the fact that I'd left the Speedway by the time they called out my ticket. So was I still entitled to the prize? Long story short, I had picked up the prize this morning, being Tuesday, and now I'm on the damn Speedway committee. I don't even know how this stuff kind of transpires with me, but I'm not sad about it. I feel like they need a female touch. I'm not saying there's no females on the committee, but I was talking to the like a chairman type person, and he was asking for feedback on the ladies' night. And I said, oh, this could have been done better. That could have been done better. Just my view on this is, and my view on that. And then he started taking notes. He was like, oh, I am loving this. Can you come to our next event in October? And, well, our lead up to the next event in October, and we'll discuss how to get this off the ground even better than this one. And I was thinking, oh, do I have to be sober for that one as well? Because I wasn't very good at it. It's not easy when you just sit in the field and just watch cars go around a circle and just be sober. I don't know. I was actually going into March being sober. I'm not going to lie. I'd just been to my mum's house in Queenstown. I was very aware that I was going to have an Airbnb guest on Sunday night. I left Queenstown. I almost got into a car crash. I tell you, if I didn't have an Airbnb guest, I actually would have ploughed into the side of him because it would have been his fault and I would have got a new car out of it. But my guest was my priority. So we hit the anchors and hit the brakes. But anyway, got to Cromwell. She was already here at the house. She said she was going to be here about 4. It was about 4:45. So I was thinking, holy shit, I'm not ready. But anyway, so she comes inside, everything's all fine and dandy. She's just done the Milford track, and she says to me she's been having dehydrated food for the past 3 nights. Where's really great in Cromwell to have a bite to eat? And I said, oh, these are the menus that I've got from around the township. I've got them on the side of the fridge here for all my little guests. And then she says, oh, maybe I'm looking for somewhere a little bit more upmarket that serves wine. I says, did you want a wine, did you? She says, yeah. I said, get in the car. We're going to go to a winery. So I took her to a winery. Walked into the winery. Within 15 minutes, I said to the cellar door host, this is my Airbnb guest. She's been with me for 15 minutes and I brought her straight here. And she says, oh my God, I bet you bloody should give Danny a gold star because that's amazing. It was unheard of, you guys. Like, I was quite proud of how I went from, I don't know, running a marathon to get back for my guest to taking my guest on an experience to a winery. And we sat outside in the sun spinning yarns for damn near like 2 hours. And then we went to a restaurant for dinner. I swear to God, like, my Airbnb sort of time has been crazy. If I'm not dropping people off at orchards to do, I don't know, orchard tours and pick fruit and eat ice creams and do crazy things, I'm at wineries and I'm either here nor there. Like, honestly, it's just been the wildest experience. I can't fault it, eh? I can fold it because some of them I hate. But anyway, for the most part, we get these really amazing guests, and I just think, wow, I'm so it's just such a good feeling. It makes you feel like you're weirdly giving back to the community, but like the community doesn't know that you're working this hard to make people feel welcome. It's a weird concept, I'm telling you. So yeah, that was a really cool couple of, well, no, it was only one night. I feel like it's more, but that's only because my mum's moved back in and she's here now. But that's really cool. I feel like I slept really well last night because my mum's back in the house. It's not like I don't sleep when she's not here. It's just this level of like security when you feel like there's more people in the house and they just kind of like know the situation. Like my mum knows Poe, my cat's going to run up and down the hallway like a banshee and just kind of like chase, I don't know, hedgehogs and shit outside. Like he's so crazy. So no, that's been a weird kind of time. I am very much looking forward to my trip coming up. I have these days where I think, oh, you know, this is going to be such an amazing trip. And then other days I'm like, holy fuck, what am I doing? Should I even be going? Like it's ebbs and waves. And I think everyone says to me in their own sort of experiences that traveling just makes you so much more conditioned for the real world and you get to see and enjoy different aspects. And then, like I said to my family, this is going to be like a trip for me and I'm really excited to do things for myself. I'm going on these crazy flights. I'm doing like 1 million flights. I'm not bothered about delays. I can enjoy airports by myself, like eat great food. I'm so excited for like cooking classes, meeting people, experiences, just getting out of my head a little bit and just enjoying the quiet. I say quiet because like, you know, like I'm actually going on this trip to learn about things that I enjoy. And I think for the most part, the previous times I've been away, it's been, I don't know, I'm not saying like I do things to help keep other people that are traveling with me happy, but it's like it's not enjoyable for myself. And Mum was saying, oh, you know, you get to enjoy like wine in another country. And I was like, wine? What? No, I'm not going to drink wine. I'm going to drink cocktails out of a bucket, you know, like it's just a different environment completely. And, you know, I've had so many people say, oh, you could have flown from Christchurch to Bangkok and then Bangkok back to Christchurch. But that to me just doesn't scream a Danny adventure. I need to go here and here and here and here. Like, I want to make this shit worth it. It's crazy. Like, and it's so cheap. It's so cheap. It's freaking me out. I'm like, there's a $10 flight that I'm on, would you believe? A $10 flight. Weirdly enough, people actually don't look into that too much and they actually still take night train or bus tours. And I'm like, oh, for $10, get on a plane and get there faster so you can enjoy the place is my whole concept around it. But yeah, you should see my screenshots and my mobile are absolutely disgusting. There's just so many different ideas on what to do in what place, and you have to be reminded that these are the customs in these places and don't offend people. You can't even talk about, I think it's the Thai king, or else you could be jailed. And I'm like, what? So if you say anything bad about the hotel that you're staying in, you can also be fined or put in jail. And if you speak about the Thai king, you can be put in jail. There's enforcement action. Like, it's crazy. So yeah, I have been trying to screenshot as many things as I can just to remind myself. I've got this A4 bit of paper that's broken down into like China, Thailand, and a few other places that I've just sort of like been making wee notes about. Well, if you've got a spare like moment, this would be really great to do this, and this place has really great da-da-da. So, Lord help me if I get stuck in like a monsoon or some friggin' rainstorm or something and my backpack gets saturated and the paper turns into a napkin. Like, oh, I can't. If I told my mum that I had done this with an A4 bit of paper, she'd find that A4 bit of paper, take it to her work and laminate it and then bring it back to me. So she's not dumb. Like, she's so smart. But yeah, right now I'm just kind of in limbo, just chipping away at planning bits and pieces, making sure I've got my visas. I've got to get travel insurance. I've booked, I think, 5 out of my 8 flights. I'm trying to figure out how I want to come back to New Zealand. So that's kind of just on the table at the moment. And something else. What else? These are, oh, my plug adapter. I don't know how to use my plug adapter I've got because I was like, what? I'm confused. What goes in where? So yeah, there's just little things like that where I have to sit down and like concentrate and learn, because it's okay to pack it, but if you pack it and you don't know how to use it and you haven't got time to learn, I mean, it is just a plug, but I don't know how it works. I feel like it's the wrong way around plug, if that makes any sense. Like the Thai plug goes into the adapter that goes into the New Zealand plug. It's not New Zealand plug into the Thai adapter. Anyway, I'll come back to that. I'm confusing myself. So anyway, this is where I'm at as March gets underway. Got my new dish brush, changed my toothbrush. Yeah, we're going to talk about it. It's season 4 of the podcast. We'll do that too as well, just for closure. This month, I'm absolutely not chasing any such word of perfection. I'm just choosing better fuel, better movement, better energy levels. And yeah, I think off the bat of my last conversation about better people around me is definitely happening. I made a friend on Sunday with that Airbnb guest. She will forever just be one of the best in 2026. I cannot believe it was just the most craziest interactions. And I thought, wow, these people exist in the world, you know. But yeah, this month definitely feels less about changing everything and more about strengthening what is already working for me. And I always like tell you guys what I've changed and what I'm doing and seeing it actually work in progress. So I'm kind of like the guinea pig. Let me try it and then I'll tell you about it. And if it doesn't work, I'm probably not going to mention it. But anyway, if you're also in a phase of rebuilding trust with your body and your habit stacking with your routines, please, reminder, just go gently. Consistency beats intensity every single time, which is something I'm learning with the StairMaster. Consistency is definitely something beating resistance and speed intensity on that damn machine. But anyway, as always, just wanted to wrap up and say thank you all for listening. Thank you for being here. And I just wanted to touch on my breast biopsy and just remind you all that sometimes you do get good news in the weirdest times. For me, it was Christmas Eve, 5 p.m, but it was the news that I had longed to hear, and that really made me feel a little bit less stressed. But anyway, I just wanted to share that story with you today. Oh, good. I will talk to you in the next episode. Bye for now.